Let's do this. Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, stand and cheer the brave.
Rah, rah, rah.
Go hard, win the game. With honor, you keep your fame. Down the field and gain Lion victory.
Oh, Lions.
Yeah.
Woo. Oh, my. I'm so glad I didn't have to sing this week.
Welcome to the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Brent Steele, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Jonathan Detroit Haynes. How's it going, man?
Yo, man. That was awesome. Good job.
Also, joining us, Mr. Phil Bruxy. Phil, how we doing?
Pretty good. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to all of that.
I did.
He did a good job, though. He did a good job.
I didn't welch. I gave it my all. I've practiced that a few times. Now I kind of want to go to a Lions game and really go for it. So that's every Lions game they do this at some point?
Yes, when they score a touchdown, they do.
They score a touchdown?
Yes, every time.
Every touchdown?
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
man. We just do a train horn or something, whatever. All right, so there it is. We'll go ahead and start. We can start with Eagles and Giants in NFL on Week 7. Ugly game. The Daniel Jones run that had everybody talking with the stumble.
Oh, man, there were some great memes to that.
Did you see the one with the probability win?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'll have to throw that one out there. But it has him running. You know the stupid probability charts. As a Falcons fan, I'm well aware because they always show the 99%. But he's running. He's running up the chart, and then they have him start falling with the percent win. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I think it was Barstool that did it.
It's awesome.
Ugly game. Now, Lions and Falcons.
Woo! Man.
What in the world?
Do those teams know how to play a game against each other where there's
Fun.
no
It was a very, very fun game. It was aggravating.
Where it doesn't come down to the end or something controversial.
It was aggravating. So if we go by the counts now, the Falcons have now lost by staring at an onside kick, not picking it up. They have lost by losing to a backup quarterback when they were up 10 with like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And now they have lost by scoring too many points.
Oh my gosh. They lost by scoring a touchdown, basically.
Yeah. And I just shared the video in our Discord. I didn't know this. I knew Ryan was mic'd up because I'd already watched that. Usually when players are mic'd up, especially one as boring as Matt Ryan, there's nothing there. It's a lot of like him throwing
I haven't seen it.
pads and hitting. Yeah, that's it. But the fact that they have him mic'd up telling Gurley, go down, do not score, and Gurley's like, yeah, no, I got it.
Oh, it's like he tells him before
the play, he says, do not score. We're not scoring here. Go down. And Gurley's like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, don't score.
Oh, that's great. I got to see
didn't know
that.
I don't know if it was anticipating contact. I don't know if it was just momentum, but we were like 10 yards out.
Wow.
Yeah.
But wild game. Stafford clutch as always. Kenny Galladay is the real deal as he pours in 6 and 114. So you have to pay Kenny Galladay.
Oh my gosh, yes. The guy's a beast.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe it's one of those things where he doesn't really want to resign.
It might be like he does remind me of Julio.
He's
Big, physical, but the nagging injuries too, and also a Julio
that's
part.
true.
But I mean, you have to pay. If you're not paying,
But
what are we doing?
Calvin got banged up a lot too. So
That it's almost like
Yeah.
a big man in the NBA.
yeah.
They're more of a freak athlete there. The more they're going to have, the body's not supposed to be able to do this stuff. So
That's a problem I have.
right, yeah, they're peak physical specimens that we are.
Yeah.
Their body's not made to do this stuff. So when you're able to do it, go that fast and be that strong and that big, wears on you more. That's my professional medical opinion.
I second that opinion. with my medical professionalism.
I concur.
I concur. There you go.
Browns and Bengals was a classic. Is Baker better without Odell?
No. I don't
Think
buy
it's the
that
Bengals
stuff.
defense?
Yes.
You do believe? I think they're still a better team with Odell.
I just think
Not
that,
the
like, the
team,
focus,
it's Baker, which I guess is going to largely affect the team.
I mean, I just think he brings too much attention. Like, the focus is on Odell. You got to get him the ball. You got to get him the ball.
I mean, I understand that too, but he's a threat, and teams have to game plan for
Okay,
I
that's
get it.
true.
I guess there was some clip, I hadn't seen this, but
I
when
can
he
see it
hits-
both. I can see it both ways. Like, there's pluses and minuses to that, obviously.
I find it hard to believe that a professional NFL quarterback, with everything that's going on in a game, is sitting there thinking, and I guess it happens, I guess it does, but is sitting there thinking, oh crap, I have to get this guy the ball.
I remember one time there was an interview with John Elway, and he had Shannon Sharp on his team who loved to talk, and he said Shannon just kept hollering at him in the huddle. It was like, "Give me the ball, I'm open." And Elway said he turned to him and said, "If you don't shut your mouth, I'm never going to throw you the ball again." So, I mean,
I guess it does.
yeah, I guess it does happen.
Steelers and Titans. Titans almost complete a great comeback. Koskowski again. This is
Yeah.
week one. I guess he rebounded and he ended up winning, but lose. I think it was inside 40 yards, or it was inside 45 yards. I think 40-yard field goal or so, but
Yeah.
misses that and blows that comeback. Saints beat the Panthers. Who cares? Not really that much of an exciting game. Bills barely squeaked by the Jets. Squeaked by 18-10. Jets just didn't come out at halftime. Jets. Oh,
Not good. Not good.
and then my lock of the week. Cowboys
Glad
+1.
we skipped that. Yeah, no. What happened? What happened there?
Oof.
Well, Dalton goes down in a
Hey,
bad
it's not
play, but I
looking
mean,
good.
still.
Yeah, but they weren't playing well anyways in that game.
Have we ever seen a
Yeah.
coach? And not to dog on you, Detroit, but Patricia is the most recent, closest thing I can think of this. Have we ever seen a coach maybe either lose or never have his team only 7 games into the season? Didn't Patricia have a rough? Didn't they like almost do a little mutiny on him?
Yeah, they did. They supposedly he tried to come in, do his New England Patriots way. He was, I guess, practicing
that with
them
him.
really hard.
Yeah.
They complained about that, a lot of the players. So there's one thing I do want to touch on that game though. And
Yeah.
it's actually, I got to give you some credit. I'm liking this Antonio Gibson for the Redskins.
Yeah, for the Washington football team, you mean?
Oh, sorry, the Washington football team. Sorry,
Oh,
Phil, can you bleep that out? Sorry.
that's $1 for the jar.
$1 for this.
I can. It's hard not to say it, but no, I think I've watched him a couple times though. He looks really good. I like the way he runs.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
He seems to be getting more and more involved. I don't know about games, but this was the perfect type of game for him. I don't know about games where they'll be ahead if
Yeah.
they'll lean more on J.D. McKissick. But, I mean, we'll see. Texans and Packers, that was kind of a boring game, except for Devontae Adams balling out. He goes for 196 and 2.
This goes back to, I think you've mentioned it before, is how do teams not know where he's going with the ball? Like Adams is their threat, especially with Jones out. Why would you not just double and triple team like that?
Not saying
Well,
that
did
it
you
will-
see?
Go ahead.
Did you see the news where they're thinking about going after Will Fuller now too?
Oh, who the
The
Packers?
Packers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, they
think
need
about-
somebody next to Adams.
They had Lazard, but
Yeah,
he randomly, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what his situation is. I know he's hurt.
he had that chest surgery
Oh, okay.
abnormally.
Is he done for the
anomaly.
season?
No, I don't know. He went on the IR, but the IR this week is only 3 weeks. So I thought that
Oh,
he would be
okay.
back sometime soon, but we will see. We will see. Go ahead, let Detroit brag a little bit as we go to the 4 o'clock games. Mr.
Hey,
Brady.
now. Hey, come on. You know what? I've been critical of Brady at the beginning of the season. I thought he didn't look all that great, but he looks really good these last couple of weeks. He had some really nice deep balls that he's throwing. The team's clicking. I think they're going to be without Godwin though again this week.
Broke his
even
finger
though-
on that touchdown catch.
Yeah.
It's looking that way. He's gonna miss at least a week, I think.
So But that team's looking really good.
And poor went out for the Raiders.
Super Bowl champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
My Cowboys pick is going strong. I don't know.
Woo! That one's bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. Dak breaks.
Yeah.
Well, they were already losing before that. But
Poor Matt. He was pretty angry in that game.
yeah.
I think he wanted to reach through Discord and strangle me.
Yeah. The Raiders. They have the Browns next. That's a good. Playing the Browns is a good find your level game. I feel like for them going on the road. If you get blown out by the Browns, I know the Browns are doing much better this year than they have in years past. If you go to the Browns, they have a bad secondary. They don't have Odell. They don't have Chubb. That's a good. Please let us just be competitive in this game. If we win it good, we kind of zero in because you don't know where this team is right now. They're beating the Saints. They're getting blown out by the Bucks. I mean, you got to kind of rein that in, and you got to start beating good teams because right now they're two big losses. You got the Bills and you got the Bucks now, so you got to get in the upper echelon and start putting it to some good actual good teams. Well, I mean, they did beat the Chiefs though. They have beat the Chiefs and the Saints, so I don't know what's going on with this team as I'm talking it out. I'm all over the place. Chiefs and Broncos, boring game that nobody watched. Chiefs kind of blew them out. Anything on that? No? We don't know what Le'Veon Bell is going to do yet, and the Chiefs get the Jets this weekend, so I don't know that we'll get much insight into that either. The best 4 o'clock game that nobody watched, the Jaguars and Chargers.
Yeah, that was entertaining.
It was.
I had my DirecTV up with the 4 boxes. I was watching a lot of that. I'm impressed. This Herbert quarterback, man, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is good.
Yeah, he's got an arm.
Yeah, I was not expecting this.
No. He was so backward on hard knocks. I guess, I mean,
I was just going back to his college days.
That too. You're coming from Oregon. I mean, but I guess I put too much in. I've done better, but I've tried to not put so much in the hard knocks. Because it's the only thing we see when all of these are in reality are very similar to this. But Minshew might be. I know he's not the problem, but doesn't look good, and that might be a short leash. But James Robinson does look good.
Yeah,
definitely.
Another good game, 120 and a TD. So. Now the best game of the day, if you're not a Lions or Falcons fan, is the Seahawks and Cardinals.
Yes.
Cardinals look dead to rights. They actually put one on the Seahawks and come back late in overtime. Detroit, your thoughts on Kingsbury kicking it on second down?
Yeah. I thought it was great. That's all I got. That's all I got.
That's all you got. All right.
What about you, Phil?
Yeah.
About the same. Yeah. Not much.
Tyler Lockett gets 203 touchdowns. It's always like one or the other goes off each game, depending on what the defense does.
Yeah, they definitely went after Metcalf. I mean,
you had Peterson on Metcalf, didn't you?
Yeah. They definitely wanted to stop him. Man, that play he made, though, was amazing.
Chase down. I know we're not in the KDFL section yet. I thought that chase down, because Buda Baker was on the Gamblers, I thought that chase down was going to win me the week. I thought it was going to win the week because Todd Gurley fell into the end zone when he shouldn't, and Buda Baker got chased down in a play that almost never happens. I was so excited. And then finally, the Rams beat the Bears. The Bears are, I don't know. I guess it's always a case of what you don't have. But would you rather have a team with a good defense and bad offense, or a team with a good offense and bad defense?
I'd take the good defense every time.
Phil, what do you think?
I mean, you got to score points, though. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
think the defense can sometimes put your offense in a good position to score.
Just from personal standpoint, with the Falcons and having a terrible defense and a good offense, I hate that no game's ever done.
Yeah.
I hate that. So right now, recency bias, I'm going to take the good defense. Whenever this offense gets blown up and we have a good defense and the offense can't score, I'll probably be begging for a high-powered offense. That's how it goes. This part is gonna be shorter this week. That's our reactions. Oh, I have a couple interesting things for you. Name. I don't know how to do this. This quarterback is 31st in the league in third down conversions.
This
They're
quarterback?
31st. Yeah, 31st in the league at third down conversions, only converting 33.9%. And I'm going to give you these. I'm going to give you the four teams out of the five around him. Minnesota. It's not Minnesota. It's not Denver. It's not Chicago, and it's not the Jets.
So it's got to be somebody good. Because you're saying these bad teams, right?
Oh yeah, I was just giving you the teams that's in his neighborhood.
I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. That's what I was thinking.
It would be Mr. Unlimited Russell Wilson.
Oh wow.
So 31st.
Whoa.
Now they have a smaller
how many
sample
attempts,
size.
though?
Right,
Okay,
they have a
yeah, that's what
smaller
I'm saying.
sample size.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought I had another step, but that's all I have right now. Anything else on NFL Week 7?
No, not at all.
No, got nothing.
All right. So Detroit
Yes.
power ranking segment. Let's do it.
Alrighty.
I need a name for this, by the way. So if anybody comes up with a name out there, let us know.
Okay, so for this week, I always have a couple in my head, and they always are like, that's too easy. This one, I'm going to go. Give me power rank the top 5 NFL coaches. Now we're going to take Belichick out of there because that's too easy.
Is he a good coach, though?
Okay. Well, I mean, we can leave him in if you want, but
No, I'm just kidding.
I figured it'd be too easy to take him. So I'm going to start off, and number 5, I'm going with Sean McVay. I think he's done a good job with the Rams. They didn't have a good year last year, but the Rams weren't really that good before he got there. Of course, a lot of his coaches, people wanted to start hiring anybody that came within 6 feet of him, but a lot of those haven't worked out. Number 4, I've got Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The guy's been consistent. He's been there, I think, 13 years. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he gets enough credit. He does get a lot of blame when they don't win. Number 3, I'm going with Kyle Shanahan for the Niners. As we all know and we hear, he's a good offensive-minded. He's turned those Niners teams around. Number 2, I'm going with John Harbaugh from the Ravens. I think he's done a good job there in Baltimore with different quarterbacks. His teams have always been, competitive, pretty good. I mean, you won a Super Bowl with Flacco. I mean, what's that say? And then for my number 1, that's not Bill Belichick, I'm going with Andy Reid for the Chiefs.
Nice job. Phil, you want to go? You want me to?
You go.
All right, number 5, I have Sean McDermott for the Bills. If you saw how much raw talent Josh Allen had and how unpredictable he was, the fact that he's been able to coach him up and actually turn that around in Buffalo, I think he goes a little bit underappreciated. Number 4, I have John Harbaugh because Detroit just mentioned him and made me remember him. I didn't have him on my scores because the Ravens were on bye. But John Harbaugh, amazing at working with what he has.
Yes.
He had Flacco, who wasn't mobile at all, and he could air it out a little bit more. And he gets Lamar Jackson, and he tailor-made the team for him and into a high-powered rushing attack. Hard to read my sloppy handwriting. Number 3, I have Kyle Shanahan. A similar thing, designing run schemes that if you watch a Shanahan game, watch the O-line and watch their blocking schemes. They're way more sophisticated than what you see in a lot of the league with a lot of the pulls and all that the O-linemen do. Number 2, I have Sean McVay, just because of I think he learned a lot from the Super Bowl. I think he should be a lot better at making adjustments. The Super Bowl was a little bit too early for him, a little bit too much hype. So I have Sean McVay at number 2 because I do think he's gotten better, and I think he's doing more with less right now. Remember, a lot of people kind of wrote this team off, and they seem to be playing pretty well. Number 1, you have to kind of have Andy Reid in there right now with the success he's had and the way he's been able to coach up Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, that's my 5.
I like it. I like it. Pretty similar for me. I have John Harbaugh at number 5. Kind of what you guys are saying. He kind of does a lot with less than some other coaches, and he's kind of made that team fit around Lamar Jackson instead of Lamar Jackson fitting in that team. And they always seem to have a really good defense. They're just always in games. And like you said, he won with Joe Flacco, who is like pretty terrible actually. So number 4 is Sean McVay. I know they don't have the kind of offense they had in recent years on that Super Bowl run. They're still a really good team. They're still putting up points. And they lost Todd Gurley. I mean, I know the guy only has one leg now, so he wouldn't be as efficient, but still a big loss because he was a big part of that offense. Number 3, I got Mike Tomlin. I mean, maybe I just have a bad memory, but I can't ever really remember the Steelers ever getting blown out recently. I don't know. Maybe it's happened. They just always seem to be in games. They always have a good defense. And their offense is actually pretty good too, especially with Roethlisberger in there. They always have some receivers, it seems like. And even losing Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, they've still been good in recent years. Number 2, Pete Carroll.
Oh, man, how did I forget Pete Carroll?
I didn't put him on there.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, as much as people probably hate him, I mean, he's easy to hate, I think, probably one of those coaches. But, I mean, the Seahawks are just – they're always around. It's ridiculous. Like, they never go away. So, I'm sure Jeremy hates him more than most people. But they're number 1, Andy Reid. I mean, no matter where the guy goes, his offense always seems to be really highly, like, firepower. And, of course, they just won the Super Bowl. And they turned Mahomes into, like, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever already.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody really saw that coming.
A little side note on mine. I will say Pete Carroll just missed my top 5.
Yeah.
It's not that I forgot him.
I didn't. Yeah. Same thing.
And then with the close thing into my top 5 would have been Adam Gase. I'm sorry, I had to say his name this week.
Is that your bottom 5 or your top 5?
Nobody had Peyton, right?
No.
No.
Oh, telling. Very telling, sir.
I feel like he's got to do more with what he has. You know, he's had, like, crazy talent on offense.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay.
He would be top 10, but I mean.
Yeah, he's top 10, definitely. He was just outside, probably 6 or 7.
What young coach would you, besides the coaches we named, I'm thinking of, like,
I don't even know.
Like a young coach that we have.
I like to use McDermott.
Yeah.
He'd be one.
I like Vrabel for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, Vrabel's good.
Vrabel's good. If you had an open head coaching spot, which me and Detroit like really will, maybe not Detroit. Well, I do. What coach would you put in there? Take out Brian or Eric Bieniemy. I feel like he's number 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the name that pops up the most.
Yeah. Who else would you do?
I don't even know.
If he wasn't defensive minded, Leahy or whatever, the 49ers defensive would be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just want someone that's good. I mean, everybody does, but
I think Falcons fans will lose their mind if they go for the defensive coach.
I get tired of, like, it seems like with the Lions they always go with somebody that's, I don't know.
Not a number 1 choice.
Yeah. Yes.
Patricia and the Lions just fit though. It just felt like they fit.
That's
true. It really did feel like it fit.
It just did. Yeah. I mean, it just looks like Detroit. If Detroit was a person. Actually,
Detroit is a person. He's sitting right in front of us. What are you talking about?
All right. Anything else from before we hit the KDFL section?
No, I did see a couple trades go down this week. My Lions made a deal. I was gonna say I think the Seahawks traded and got, was it Dunlap from the Bengals?
Yeah. A lot of people making some moves. I did see that Tank McKinley is being held out of Thursday night's game versus the Panthers because he's probably being shipped somewhere. So.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see if this Everson Griffin's going to do anything for the Lions because Lions have no pass rush at all.
Cowboys had all the hype in the world around this defensive line. Jared McCoy goes out. Now they're dealing. Man, this is wild.
Yeah. I heard that they're not done trading either. Cowboys are going to unload a couple more.
Okay. So, KDFL Week 7. Here we go. We're going to start in Montrose, where the Montrose Mega Powers host the Cross Vegas Gamblers. Devin White leads all scorers with 31.5. Todd Gurley rolls in with 22.2 points for the Mega Powers, and Buda Baker seals up the win for the Gamblers as he pours in 28, and the Gamblers win 228 to 216. And as predicted last week, while we're in the middle of the road of the season with that 216 score, the Montrose Mega Powers have been eliminated from the KDFL Eliminator.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
Your team is not good. I mean, let's be honest here. They're not good.
Next up, we have the Marmot Midnight Riders visiting the Hurricane Rompus Cats. Baker Mayfield lights up the Bengals for 34. Devontae Adams, as we mentioned, had a huge day as he pours in 45. But Jamal Williams filling in for Aaron Jones for the Midnight Riders. He scores 21, and the Midnight Riders win 241 to 268.
The Midnight Riders did not win 241 to 268.
Midnight Riders lost. Hurricane Wampus Cats won 268 to 241. Live TV, folks. Next up, we have the Polka Pharmacists going to Kanawha County to take on the Kings. Tom Brady, as we mentioned earlier, scores 41 points. Drew Brees somehow 8 yards at a time gets to 26 points for the Kings. But Chase Edmonds, after Kenyon Drake goes down, he pours in 22, and the Polka Pharmacists win 271 to 208. Next up, we have the Roxanna Renegades hosting the winless Dogtown Dobermans. Dante Johnson scores 30 for the Dobermans. Matt Stafford, a measly 19, but came through when it mattered. Josh Allen for the Dobermans was only able to pour in 16, and the Roxanna Renegades get their second win of the season, edging this one out, winning 201 to 197. Now, in our first ever in the KDFL, our doubleheader game of the week, we had the podcast battle. Oh boy. The Elkview River Rats traveled down south to the Nightdale Dragons. Let's see, John Brown scores. Jalen Brown scores 25 points for the Dragons. Aaron Rodgers, the high scorer by a mile for the River Rats, as he scores 31. Chris Godwin lays it all out on the field, breaking his finger as he scores 24. And the Nightdale Dragons put on a thumping. They win 236 to 163.
Wow.
Why could you not have still been in the Eliminator? Now, next up, our final game of the week, we have the Charleston Methadones being hosted by the undefeated Glasgow Gunslingers. James Robinson scores 32 for the Gunslingers. Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett combined for over 75 points. And A.J. Brown pours in another 27, and the Methadones win big, 289 to 54, or 289-54 to 239, and the Gunslingers, that's right, the Gunslingers taste defeat as they fall to 6-1, and that is it for your Week 7 KDFL wrap-up.
Wow, man, it's the Elkview River Rats, man. They're not doing too well. Injuries are mounting up. Yeah, it's not looking good for us. We got a bad matchup this week.
Yeah, so now we're basically halfway through our regular season. We're all eliminated from the Eliminator now.
No.
Not good.
This is crazy. No,
Nice.
it's not good.
I don't even know who's left. I don't even care.
Left in the Eliminator, since I have it right here, we have the Methadones, the Gunslingers, the Gamblers, the Midnight Riders, and the Pharmacists.
Well, I hope the Midnight Riders and the
ahead
Pharmacists
right here.
win.
Yeah, while we're here, and block out my own team so Jerem does not get the enjoyment of doing it himself. Now, real quick, we're going to touch on some things. Obviously, we had a big week in the KDFL. We had a monster trade go down with Christian McCaffery going to the Charleston Methadones. We've recapped it a lot. We did our own little special on it. One thing I wanted to add, there's two things I wanted to talk about, and then we'll be done beating this horse right after we do the interview with the guy who traded him. But trap myself there. But
You're having a hard time this episode.
oh no, struggle's real right now. The theory that you cannot trade good players to good teams is not what I meant when I said that. Obviously, when we get, especially now, we're getting to this part of the season where it's very clear who the have and have-nots are. Clearly, you can trade away and be a seller and try to get some picks in order to improve your team, and that'll obviously improve an already made team. I just thought it would send a team in such a stratosphere with James' team when he'd have. If you showed that team to anybody that was outside of the league and you said this guy has Barkley, Mixon, Zeke, and McCaffrey, and you just everybody'd be like, who? How did this happen?
And you didn't even mention Mahomes and Kittle.
Right. Well, because I was only going by the players he did. He only drafted, as far as I know, without trading or anything. I believe Mixon is the only one he drafted. I'm not sure that he drafted Mixon. I don't remember a trade that resulted in him getting Mixon, so I'm just going to say he drafted him without any trades or anything like that. Second part, and this was what Tim brought up, the very, very famous now Zeke trade. I think it was in 2018, the very famous Zeke trade that happened. He mentioned that that trade seemed very lopsided at the time, and it did for James to get a Zeke. Now, and he said, and then Detroit rocked the draft, which let's go through this draft. Second overall pick, Darius Geis, that missed, obviously. 6th overall pick, Lamar Jackson, huge home run. 14th overall pick, Nick Chubb, another huge home run. So you knocked out the draft.
And you got to remember, I traded one of those picks for Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and one of them ended up Travis Kelce. So, yes, you knocked out the draft. My point being, you have to do that to make it worth it, and that's not an easy thing to do. I'm amazed that you and your limited skill set was able to put together your brain for 2 hours and actually have a good draft. Never mind the fact that your number 2 overall pick never played it down hardly and is now out of the league. It's fine. But, I mean, you knocked out the draft, so that's what you have to do, and I don't like that much pressure to do that.
Right.
That's my point. I think you can do it other ways. I think you can do it other ways. There's other pieces that you can maneuver and get a pick here, get not a monster haul, but a pick here, a pick there.
Right.
You'll keep your heart of your team. That's my own thoughts, and
I just think he could have got more. That was my only thing.
Yeah.
I think he could have got more.
I think so.
I still think he could have got like those draft picks, but better players in return too.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thing.
Yeah, I think he got the best picks available, but not the best players.
Right.
I mean that's
I think that's a trade-off, but yeah, I think he could have negotiated and got a little bit better players.
And the pressure's on to knock out this draft, and maybe he will, and it'll be then he'll be all set. Also, if you are making your draft decisions or at all thinking about it, I don't think you are, but if you're at all considering things based on me in particular and us 3 idiots as a whole, you're a moron and don't deserve to be making moves anyway. So there's that as well.
That's true. If you're listening to us on anything.
Right. Like I had people like stop criticizing trades, so people will be gunshot to do it, then that person would be a moron and probably shouldn't be making trades anyway. I don't think anybody is. I feel bad for them if they are, but I had to throw that out.
Oh my.
All right. So
before we move on to our picks this week, we were hoping Tim would be on here live with us.
Oh man, Tim was going to do this, but you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately he couldn't make it. So I'm going to announce breaking news. The Kanawha County Kings and the Nightdale Dragons have agreed on a trade. It's not as big as the McCarthy trade, but I'm sure Brett will have some stuff to say about this trade with who's involved. So the Dragons are going to be sending a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 5th this year for Drew Brees and Cole Beasley.
Wow.
So, Brett, what do you think about Brees?
Okay. Real talk. I tried to go after Brees, but yesterday evening, if you were around in the Discord and stuff, and if you noticed people's messages, there was just a huge flurry of interest in veteran QBs all of a sudden. So it drove the price up for Brees farther than.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's funny you guys mentioned that because Tim messaged me.
Oh, Tim will shop you, and that is smart.
Yeah, He was asking me if
Yeah.
I was interested in Drew Brees,
Yeah, he
and
did
I
to
was
me.
like, I just didn't have any interest. I'd already traded away everything anyways.
You're not the
Draft pick.
candidate for it, and Phil, I get Phil because Philip Rivers has been
Right.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay that much for him because I don't know how my team outside of him as well, if it's got enough to, I don't have the huge running back core. I have decent running backs, but not the huge running back core that like a Phil or Jam or Matt would have. But it's a 1 year thing, right? I mean, he's going to retire. Tim doesn't think he's going to retire.
Yeah.
I think he's done after this year.
Yeah.
No, I think he's gone. Yeah. It's basically a wonder deal.
It's a
I mean,
1 year
like
rental. It's similar. You see it all the time
yeah.
in baseball. You get the rent the guy.
Here's why I love it on Phil's part. Number one, I think Phil's one of the top 3 teams right now. I think it's
There's a clear top 3.
Matt, Clark, and Phil.
Yeah.
Plus, this helps Phil in another way because he already owns Tim's first round pick next year. So now his team's even worse. So
I'm going to get a young quarterback next year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm going to have to because I have Matt Ryan, Philip Rivers, and Drew Brees. So.
And I'm getting the feeling that the cliff could fall off quick with Matt Ryan. I've seen it more, and I said I'd be objective and be honest about this. I love how I tailor everything back to either me or the Falcons. It's so great.
Well, this is your show.
I don't know how to do it. I do it all the time, and I catch myself doing it. But but I want to be honest because I trash Brees constantly for his arm being dead. I've trashed Brady,
Right.
and I want to try to be as objective as possible. I see it now for the first time. This is the first year I've seen it. With Ryan missing guys high a lot. I saw that against Detroit. I've seen it in previous weeks. He looks very jittery back there. And he's always kind of had like a panicky motion, but he's 35. I mean,
are you willing to say Brady's playing really good?
Yeah, Brady's playing well.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on he's not going to light him up, but he does hit the open guy.
Well, it's
Yeah.
what you want to do in football.
I think Brady's probably going to have an up and down season, though, honestly. I mean, he's going to have some bad games, probably. I mean, some more bad games.
The optics of not knowing what down it was, or not whatever it was, whatever that actually was, is hilarious.
That's something you would think you would see from Brady. I mean, that's like, I don't know, football 101.
One more plug before we get into our picks. Immediately after this show, this version's going to be shorter than usual. I think we've kind of talked a lot, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But this version's going to be shorter than usual, and we're going to go immediately through the end of our show right into a 60-minute style one-on-one exclusive with me and the general manager of the Kanawha County Kings, Mr. Tim McCarthy. So stick around for that.
I want you to have a light in his face like this.
I'm going to interrogate him now?
Like grill him, yeah, like 60 minutes.
What were you thinking? All right. So we're going to start it off here. I'm doing these off the top of my head as far as the order of the games here. So first up, we will do the Hurricane Wampus Cats at 4-3, traveling across Vegas to take on the 5-2 Cross Vegas Gamblers. Corey, go ahead.
All right, hold on. I have to pull this. I have this on my phone, so I wasn't 100% ready, which is usual. It's the usual. Let's see. Gosh, his name's not coming up. I know this is good radio.
Yep. Do you have it, Phil?
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
So
Either way.
I'm liking the Gamblers this week. I like a lot of his matchups. I can't believe I'm going to say this because I think Wentz is trash, but he's playing a defense that's worse than he is as a quarterback. He's taking on the Cowboys, so I like that. Cook looks to be back this week going against Green Bay. Who knows? Is Thomas coming back?
I don't know. That's a dire situation.
Yeah, that situation is weird.
Yeah.
So the Wampus Cats right now are playing Carlos Hyde as their second offensive player. So it looks like he's only got the one quarterback with Herbert. So I'm just liking the matchups. Plus he has Bell, for Kansas City now. I'm not sure how many touches he's getting. So I'm going to go with the Gamblers.
Yeah, he does not have, just off the record, he does not have another quarterback. Marcus Mariota, Ryan Fitzpatrick got benched, and Kyler Murray's on bye.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Gamblers as well. Like we were saying, Carlos Hyde is his offensive player. He's got a tough matchup anyways. And even though Carson Wentz is bad, he's actually averaging 20 points a game. So that's still pretty good for a quarterback. And he's got a good matchup this week against the Cowboys. I feel like the matchups for both teams are pretty even across the board. It seems like, but I just think the Gamblers are going to have a little more firepower this week, where Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are out on a bye for the Wampus Cats. So going with the Gamblers.
Yeah, when I look at these, the offensive matchups are basically split, in my opinion. I don't know what Freeman's not going to do nothing against. If he gets 9.1 against the Bucks defense, I'll be amazed. But I do think Le'Veon might score more than 10.3. So the offenses I kind of look as a swap, and this is what got me versus the Gamblers. Their defense, his defense is, I don't know if it's number one in the league, but I would be hard to find a better defense than that scoring wise. Somebody can double check me on that. But his linebackers are insane, and they rack up points. Devin White was everywhere. So I'm going to go with the Gamblers as well. All right. So next up, we can do the Roxalana Renegades. A little Dunbar matchup. Roxalana Renegades taking on a Dunbarian matchup, the Charleston Methadones. Tori, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the Renegades have got 2 wins now. That's something I wasn't thinking he was going to get. But they're rolling. Stafford's, playing the Colts. I like Swift against the Colts this week. Looks like he's still got his 4 Lions in the lineup. Jared Goff going against Miami. That should be a nice little matchup. But the Methadones, man, they're just stacked. Wilson's going against the Niners, so that'll be interesting to see. But that Wilson to Lockett, having that hook up every week, that's pretty nice. Kamara's going to score against the Bears. So I'm taking the Methadones big this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Methadones as well. I think it'll be a little closer than the spread shows, but I think it's still going to be a pretty much a blowout. I don't like the Lions against the Colts. Pretty much any of those guys, Stafford, Swift, or Hawkinson.
Watch your mouth, Phil.
It's a tough matchup, man. I mean, they got a good defense, so I don't know if they can score a lot of points. And of course, for the Methadones, Russell Wilson does have a pretty tough matchup against the Niners, but the dude's averaging 32 points a game, so you can't really shut him down. It doesn't seem like, anyways. And like you were saying, he's pretty much stacked across the board. I think his defense is pretty close to the Gamblers, actually, if not better. I don't know. I think the Gunslingers is pretty close as well. But I'm going Methadones in this one.
I don't know if 270 projection has been topped. I'm sure it has been topped, but that's one of the highest I've seen from a projection standpoint. And I think the Lions can win this game versus the Colts, but it's going to be an ugly game. It's not going to be super high scoring, I don't think. Colts have a very good defense. By the way, put Swift in more. AP.
Yes, absolutely.
I love A.J. Brown getting the Bengals. So, yeah, not to belabor the point, I am going Methadones. Next up, we have the Montrose Mega Powers taking on the Poca Pharmacists. Ugly. Troy, go ahead.
Well, when I was looking at this matchup, it was like almost every offensive player had the edge for the Pharmacist. This team, if they get a win this week, they're at 4-4, which would tie you at 4-4.
And give them the break.
Yeah. It's just about matchups every week. So
Nothing else.
he's just got all the matchups. So I keep saying matchups. I don't know why I keep saying matchups, but I'm going with LJ and the Poker Pharmacists this week.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep it short.
I'm gonna go Pharmacists as well. Your matchup, or you got some guys on the bye this week. You got Deshaun Watson, Cooks, David Johnson, Antonio Gibson, who's looking good, and Josh Jones. I think you start him, right? Usually, Josh Jones. Yeah. Yeah, he's on the bye as well. I mean, that's gonna be tough to overcome that. And on the other side, he's got Tom Brady, who's rolling right now. Like I said, I think he could have down games, but he's looking good right now. He's got a good matchup against the Giants this week. The only thing I'm worried about is Allen Robinson and Jameson Crowder are both questionable. Don't know if they're going to play. But overall, I think he's going to be able to put up enough points to get the win here.
This might be, at least since I did the turnaround in 2016, this might be the worst lineup I've ever put out there. I have too much Texans exposure with daggone David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, and Deshaun Watson being out, Antonio Gibson being out is terrible. and just throw on that Josh Jones for a little defensive stuff. I mean, this is pretty bad. If I win this game, LJ will never hear the end of it. But I am saved by a couple of things, which is he will not have Terry McLaurin, and he will not have Chase Edmonds. And Chase Edmonds with Kenyon Drake out is about to fall. So
Let's not talk about Chase Edmonds. I don't want to talk about it.
So I am glad to at least possibly avoid that. But I just said AJ Brown gets the Bengals. That means Ryan Tannehill gets the Bengals. So he'll put up a good amount of numbers. So hate to pick against myself. Haven't done it in a while, but I'm going to go with Poker Pharmacist. It's basically a bye week for him. Ridiculous.
Hold on. I see pigs out the window behind me. You see that?
I don't know if I'm ever. Well, we've only been doing the show for a couple of years, but I know never picked a pharmacist to beat the Mega Power. Next up, let's see. We've done which ones have we done? We've done Renegades, we've done the Wampus Cats, and we've done.
I got Dragons and Midnight Riders next.
Dragons and Midnight Riders. Let's get to it. Troy, take it away.
All right, so before Phil broke with his breaking news of the trade he made, I already was leaning towards the Dragons. But I like that he's got Drew Brees going this week instead of Philip Rivers now. Matt Ryan against Carolina should be all right. Derrick Henry against Cincinnati, he should roll right over top of them. Edwards against the Jets. I mean, they may get up big, so who knows how long they'll stay in. Jones still questionable. Who knows what's going on there. For the Midnight Riders, he's got Baker Mayfield going against the Raiders. I'm not a big fan of that matchup. So I'm going to go with the Dragons.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dragons as well. I'm going to go with myself. I think he's actually favored.
No.
Matchups-wise in 10 out of 9. No.
Oh, what is this, Phil? What is this Philism?
You gotta let me get to it.
He's got more green checks, he said. What is it? What's the number? What's the number of green checks to green checks?
10 to 9.
Oh, boo this man.
But I think the margins on the ones I'm favored on are going to be a lot bigger. And Aaron Jones may not play again this week, which sucks. So I'm actually glad I'm getting Cole Beasley as well, so I can at least plug him in for this week. I think we'll have a pretty good week. Like you said, Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, he's getting on my nerves. So I had to do something. And Matt Ryan, 2 straight weeks over 300 yards. I know you said he's looking a little old, but I don't know. He's still pretty good. Derrick Henry, he's rolling as usual. And then on the other side, though, he's got Mayfield, who had a really good week last week with 5 touchdowns, and he's got another good matchup this week against Las Vegas. But I just think the firepower I have on my side is a little too much for this game, so I'm going with myself here.
Okay, look at this game. I mean, Mike's been on rough times since Eckler went out. It's a tough game. This is a tougher game because I do think it'll be closer. But just Jamal Williams doesn't play. That's what this game shifts on. No, I'm not doing one of my disclaimers, but if Aaron Jones goes out and Jamal Williams would play, I would take the Midnight Riders. But because of the dynamic, and I do think that Aaron Jones is playing, I am going to go with the Nightdale Dragons.
Yeah, I had that note myself. I like Jamal Williams if Jones is out.
Yeah, I mean that could really shift this whole matchup. But I mean, you got Burkhead. I mean, he's Burkhead out there versus Buffalo. Buffalo, not a great defense, but still I have a hard time believing he's going to light him up. Yeah. So with the addition of Breeze, a little more consistent floor there, I'm going to go with the Dragons. All right, now our second to last game here, the Glasgow Gunslingers taking on the Elkview Riverettes. Some might have thought it'd be game of the week, but we have a special surprise for that. We like to feature all the teams here. So go ahead, Detroit. Tell us how you're going to destroy the Evil Commish if you're loaded roster this week.
Well, my team we're in trouble. Lost 2 in a row. We already didn't have Chubb. Now we don't have Chris Carson. Things are not looking good over here in Elkview. I do like my matchup with Rodgers against Minnesota and Henderson against the Dolphins. But I'm a little bit worried. I have Juju and Claypool going against the Ravens. I also have Lamar going against the Steelers. So I don't like that matchup. For the Glasgow Gunslingers and our Evil Commish, I mean, he's got Mahomes going against the Jets. I mean, come on. Joe Mixon might not play. I mean, that would help, but I don't know if that's going to make that much of a difference. Zeke, maybe if he can fumble a couple more times. I'm not liking my matchups at all. So with that said, I'm going to take the Gunslingers.
All right, Phil.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Gunslingers as well in this one. I think both sides have some really good matchups and some really tough matchups. And the crazy thing is the Gunslingers have James Robinson, Landon Collins, Devontae Campbell. I don't even. How do you say his name? Campbell
No,
guy.
keep guessing.
Yeah, keep going at swing.
D Campbell. Let's go with that. And Jordan Hicks on a bye. I think he starts Jordan Hicks normally. And he just has guys that plug right in. Like they fit in. Like you don't even notice those guys are gone this week. So he's just too good. So I think he's going to get the win this week. That's all I got.
Go ahead, Brett. Rip on my team.
It's not that bad though. It's
No, it's not a bad team. Yeah, he's
oh!
just really good.
I'm doing it. I'm taking the River Rats to win this game. Taking the River Rats to win this game. I'll tell you why. Joe Mixon is not 100%. I don't believe he practiced today. And Tennessee is not terrible against the run. The Eagles, Zeke is about to lose a lot of it's going to be the main focus of the Eagles defense, and the Eagles defense isn't bad. As the same goes for Amari Cooper. Who the heck's going to be throwing him the ball? I'm worried that the Chiefs are going to run the Jets out of the stadium, and Patrick Mahomes is not going to be able to take it easy, basically. We'll see. I mean, he could just have a fun day and light it up. Devontae Parker is going to have Patrick Ramsey on him. These are not insanely great matchups. Julio Jones has been hobbled all year. He could go off, but who knows? The only thing I'm thinking about is Garoppolo and Kittle getting Seattle's defense. That's the only thing that's making me think that the Gunslingers could absolutely just go nuts on this scoring. And your team, it's all about Pittsburgh, man. If they can put up points, if that game can somehow turn into a shootout and you got Claypool and Schuster, if Schuster could wake up and give us a little bit more of what he's had in the past.
He had a good week last week.
Yeah, and I think the 49ers will focus on Lockett after that huge performance and will give DK a little bit of a chance to get it going. Yeah. And, I mean, you do have Kelsey, so if Mahomes does go off, Kelsey will get a decent part of that. So I am doing it. I don't want to have all the same picks every week. I am going with the Elkview River Rats to beat the Gunslingers.
Thank you, Brett.
You have brainwashed me into singing the fight song and picking.
Woo.
Next up.
Forward down the field.
Next up. Our game of the week. Our tank for Trevor Bowl.
Woo!
The Kanawha County Kings at 1-6, traveling to Dogtown to take on the 0-7 Dogtown Dobermans. Hey, Mama, I made it. I'm in the game of the week for these two teams. Detroit, take it away.
Actually, if you look at the projected totals, it's the closest one on all.
It is the closest one, and both of them are projected more than the 199 projection for the Mega Powers, which are terrible. Go ahead.
I don't like Kirk Cousins against Green Bay.
You just don't like Kirk Cousins.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
Nice person.
I love the Dobermans with James. Well, no, James going against the Ravens. Deontay Johnson is a stud. That whole Pittsburgh offense is just looking nice. I noticed he's got Joe Burrow in instead of Big Ben. That might have to do because, they're playing Baltimore. The defense, it looks like the Dobermans have the edge there. As for the Kings, well, I just don't know. I've been hard on this team all year, and I'm going to continue to be hard on this team because I just think the Dobermans had too much this week. I'm going with them.
Doberman's getting their first win. Now, keep in mind, with the projections we have right now, that Tim has a player out.
That's true. And I think I've picked the Dobermans 3 times now this year.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, on the Dobermans are favored by a few points, but like you were saying, Tim doesn't have a defensive lineman in the lineup, so that could add a few more points. Either way, it's probably still going to be really close projections. But the Dobermans, he lost Beckham. That could be a problem. And he's got some really tough matchups pretty much across the board. Meanwhile, the Kings have some really good matchups, it looks like, across the board.
Yeah, but he doesn't have he has Beasley in his lineup right now.
Yeah,
Did you see
That's
that?
true. That's a good wash.
He can put somebody else in there.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah. He's only, I don't know. He's projected.
Sorry,
to win
I didn't mean to
he
throw
actually
you
is
off.
on there.
You got him up bad. Ah!
I'm
No,
sorry.
it's good. It's good. Anyways, I'm going with the Kings. That's what I'm going with.
He feels
And
like
he's gonna
screw
screw
y'all. I'm
up.
taking
He's
the
gonna
Kings.
screw up my draft pick.
You're going with the Kings?
Yeah, I'm going with the Kings.
All right, all right. When I'm looking at this, I just like the Dobermans matchups a lot more. So
Really? I don't know.
Aguilar's been a stud. He'll continue to be a stud against the Browns. That New England defense just got worked, so I don't see it being the same thing it used to be for Josh Allen. Joshua Kelly should outrank Justin Jackson or Josh Jackson. Yeah, and Burrow in Tennessee, Burrow's going to be playing from behind, so he's gonna have to come back. And with the Kings having Gordon and Locke, the Chargers defense is legit. So I am out on that matchup. So I am going with the Dobermans to get their first win and improve to a mighty 10-7.
All right. Well, I did go over the records before we did our things.
All right.
Whew. My week last week was as good as my team. I went 2-4 last week on our picks. Yes. So now I am at 29-13. Both of you guys went 5-1. So you're both tied at 34.
I was the one, wasn't I? Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
let us down, Phil.
yeah, you guys both have a 5-game lead on me. Our locks for the week.
Shit.
I won with Tampa. I had Tampa. Phil, you had the Rams. You won that one. Brett, we've already covered this. You took the Cowboys. Not good. You lost. So me and Phil are 4-3, and you are 2-5 in your locks of the week. So you're doing pretty well there.
Doing well.
So my pick this week is I'm actually going with the Rams against Miami. They're in Miami, so that's always, coming over to the East Coast sometimes. We're going to get to see Tua playing, but I'm taking the Rams -3.5 anyways. And Brett, you suck.
Phil, tell people how to get us hold of us and give us your lock of the week.
Real quick, when I was looking for locks of the week, I was looking at, I think it was like a DraftKings related website that showed the spreads, and they had some errors on their data because it had the Titans +14 versus the Bengals.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to jump right on that. And then it said up at the top that they had some errors, so you couldn't bet anything at the time. Because every game was showing the opposite of what you would think it would be. Anyways, my lock of the week this week is going to be Green Bay. I'm going to homer pick -7 versus Minnesota. And as always, on Twitter, you can follow the show at KDFL Podcast. You can follow me at Phil Ruxy. You can follow Detroit at Detroit8374. You can follow our host, Brett Steele, at Brett Steele2. You can call or text the show at 901-609-KDFL, or you can go to Anchor as well to send us a message that way.
All right, for my lock of the week, because I'm doing so terrible, I've always wanted to do this type of line and never get the chance to. I am taking the Chiefs. I'm giving the points. Chiefs -19.5.
Wow.
Just because I want to do it. So, for Jonathan Detroit Haynes, for Mr. Phil Ruxy, I'm Brett Steele. Enjoy the interview coming up right after this, and we will see you next week on the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast. All right, we now welcome on a very special guest and interview. It is the GM of the Kanawha County Kings, Tim McCarthy, the man of the week, the trader of Christian McCaffery. I almost call him Christian McCarthy. DMC. Tim, how we doing?
Doing pretty good, man. What's up?
What is on your head, Tim?
This is my King's crown. My team is playing like a bunch of girls, so I'm officially the Kanawha County Queens.
All right, I like it.
All right. So, Tim made a lot of waves this week, trading away Christian McCaffrey. So, let's break that down. Let's go ahead and go over the thought process. What prompted you to kind of put him out on the block?
All right, so obviously I've been getting trade requests and what do you want for CMC for 3-4 years now, however long he's been in the league. And my team is so bad that it was finally time to get the most I could out of one player.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from there. I did that a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Hey,
I just
on the
realized I'm in the sandwich now. I don't know why I didn't put that together.
kind of modeled that thought after Detroit of what he did. Hopefully, I could be 75% as successful with my rebuild.
We talked about it earlier on the pod. I do get that strategy of trying to rebuild your team through the draft. I don't like the risk of it of not trying to build maybe around the key player instead of with trading little pieces here and there instead of trying to get a big haul, because I think it does put a lot of pressure on your draft. But it did work for Detroit. I'm still baffled that it worked for Detroit, as bad of a general manager as he is.
This is true.
I would have to agree with the baffling part, but it worked.
It did work.
Hey,
Proof is in the pudding.
I would like to argue with you guys, but we have a spreadsheet with the history of my draft pick. So
We did.
Yeah, the Lamar
argue.
Jackson. I mean, the Lamar Jackson pick was the one that set it off. I think.
yes, definitely.
His first two.
That-
We did this earlier. His first two picks were Darius Geis, Lamar Jackson, and then there's another. Oh, Penny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really. I mean, he got hurt. So,
Yeah. It started
But
all
that's
bad
true.
when he said
Penny was a
Darius
myth,
Gooch.
though.
but like I said, I used one of those picks and traded for Kelsey. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a can't
True.
miss.
That is true. So let's go ahead and go through the offers that you got for him, and then I'm gonna. I know we talked a little bit, Tim. I'm gonna fix one that a greedy podcaster made. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, we'll start with two of the podcasters. Brett didn't even offer; he doesn't want to win.
I
So
just knew. I just
We'll
knew
go.
it was outside of my brain. I knew it.
Brett refuses to trade with me because he always thinks I'm gonna like outsmart him or like.
All
trick him.
right.
That's what it is. Yep.
Right.
All right, so we'll go with Detroit. He offered me Chubb and Juju. Originally, I wanted Metcalf. Of course, he's not going to trade him. He offered me Chubb and Juju, and then he threw in any defensive player on his team and a 2022 first round. So not this year, but next year's first round pick. Definitely solid. I'd be getting a great running back in return. Not so high on Juju. He kind of fell off over the last couple years. Big Ben going to retire, and who knows what Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges is going to do with Juju. So I didn't think that one was quite a good fit for me. And then we'll move on to Phil. Phil gave me two different offers. His original offer was 3 first rounds for CMC and Drew Brees. So he threw a little wedge in there, which he ended up getting, but
Yeah.
I think worked out a little better for me. And then, well, the 3 first rounds did not include my first round pick
Right.
back, which was the key. And
Right.
then he offered Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Robert Woods, 2022 first, so not this year, but next year's first, for CMC and Breeze again. So, yeah, I wasn't really big on that either, just because I didn't want to package both of them.
Okay.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those seems like pretty fair offers. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm kind of biased.
Yeah.
I
The biggest thing to me was he has my first round pick, which
Right.
could be the first or second pick of the draft. Well, probably definitely be
Yeah,
the first or second pick.
that's what I think, that he has to be not that greedy. He's got to give that pick up. To get
Yeah.
McCaffrey,
Yeah, I mean, he's,
that pick's got to go back. And what did I tell you, Tim, that I would do? I would do Hilaire, Robert Woods, your 2021 first back.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
might have been enough.
that could have been enough. Yeah, because I would have got a rookie running back that should be good and a great offense,
Right.
a pretty solid middle-aged wide receiver, and the number 1 pick back.
Right.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a good offer to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the time he was 5-1. I don't know why he was. I mean, obviously he should be focused on getting young players and keeping them in and keeping his draft picks. But at that point, you got to be fully focused on winning a championship this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever won it, has he?
No.
I don't think so. No.
So, I mean, like I told him when we were making the Breeze and Beasley trade, I would give up anything to win a championship.
Yeah.
I'll give up my whole draft, a couple of my players. I'll be terrible for 7 years.
Yeah,
I don't
I
care.
get that.
No. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, did you do Matt's or Jeremy? Let's do Jeremy's.
Yeah, I got Jerem. So you got Mixon, Cooper, 2021, 2022 first. So that's the obvious immediate return right there. You got, 24, 25-year-old Mixon and Cooper, both around that, 25 years old. Very solid, but trading to the mega power that isn't the mega powers.
That is awesome.
And it is hard to trade to a guy. He's beat me 2 times in the championship. I mean, he's absolutely dominant.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
And the 2 first-round picks are going to be 11 or 12 every year, both years. So I have no chance of getting like great picks or anything.
That's definitely something you got to look at, just the picks.
That's the one that caused the most. Because I mean, player-wise, it's probably better. I mean, we never know for sure. Mixon has his slow starts habitually the last 2 years, and who knows what happens with Cooper? Because I don't think Cooper stays in Dallas.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Mixon has a little bit of injury history too. I feel like he's always dinged up.
He's one of those nagging injury players.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so and we'll go finally in with the one that we went with.
Well, we've got 2 more. I mean,
let's hear the other ones.
I didn't know there were more.
I've got LJ and Bustin. LJ.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, let's get it.
First off, LJ.
Did he offer you a third and a fourth?
He starts the bid with throwing out names like Tom Brady and Jamison Crowder, and God, I don't even know who else.
Tom Brady on a rebuild trade is an epic move.
Awful. So I sent him Schobert, solid linebacker, Stephon Diggs, Myles Gaskin, and 2 first-round picks. Obviously, he's not going to take that. I mean, it's not – I thought I was asking a lot, but I also wanted to start high, obviously. Yeah. Three starters for 1 starter and 2 picks.
Yeah.
So he says he won't do that, so I dropped Schobert. I just wanted Diggs, Gaskin, 2021, 2022 first, and then I added a second-round pick in with it.
Okay.
And he still didn't want to do that, so eventually I told him I'd drop the second-round pick and just do the 2 players and the 2 firsts, and he replied that if I dropped one of the first-round picks, he might do it.
Oh.
So it would have been Diggs, Gaskin, 1 first and a second. So obviously I need help at wide receiver, so that's why I really wanted Diggs. Gaskin, I mean, who knows if he's going to be good, but he's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was kind of like 2 slaps in the face with the Brady and Crowder and then dropping off a first-round pick.
You didn't want Tom Brady for your rebuild?
Tom Brady worked in is pretty amazing.
That's amazing.
I think there's a couple other players. I just can't remember them.
So let's go to our most inexperienced player.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Yeah, the Bustin getting in the mix, going for McCaffrey.
Okay.
This would be an interesting perspective.
Me and the Bustin are always texting each other, wheeling and dealing.
He's active in the streets.
I mean, we go on 2-hour trade debates and then never make a deal done, or we trade for the most pointless players almost. James Washington, and the list goes on.
You never know.
But his offer was his final offer was 3 first-round picks, Tyler Boyd, Jalen Hurts for CMC and T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, that's not bad.
So that was probably my second overall to Matt's.
Do it again. Do it one more time.
3 first-round picks. I think he has 2 this year and then 1 next year. Tyler Boyd and Jalen Hurts. I'm getting a potential starting quarterback, and I'm getting the top 10 receiver, which I need badly.
Yeah,
but I'm not getting a running back in that deal, so I'm down to Gordon and Ronald Jones at that point, which is pretty tough to deal with.
Gotta edit that.
Yeah, Buston has Phil's first and then his regular first next year. So that would
Well,
be
they have like a triangle where Tim comes out with no first round picks. If Tim has Buston, Phil has
Yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
Dustin has Phil's, or vice versa. No, I was right. Yeah. Okay.
Huh,
And
that's-
that one wasn't so bad. I mean, I would have did that one next probably. The person I wanted to trade with was LJ. I wanted Diggs, Gaskins, 2 firsts, and the second, or just the 2 firsts. I was fine without the second.
I think that's pretty fair, actually.
Yeah.
I
But-
think,
You know LJ.
yeah, this is true. I've made a couple deals with them. It's never been anything really big.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's hard.
like,
It's hard trading big players.
you never know. Like, if we talk about like me and Tim's trade, I traded you Jimmy Graham, and it was all to target one specific player. I wanted one player to shore up my running back position, but I also got Delaney Walker, a second and a fourth, and I gave him Jimmy Graham. This was early on. That one targeted player that I wanted so bad was Zach Stacy, who vanished like immediately after the trade. I think he was
He
late for a
was
team
a
meeting and was just dusted.
Stud.
Oh, that's awesome.
Luckily, Delaney Walker turned into something, and I got to trade one of the picks that became Victor Cruz, so it ended up being not awful. But if Delaney Walker doesn't do anything, I got but Jimmy Graham fell off a cliff too, not shortly
Yeah.
thereafter. But,
So,
yeah,
so
you
the
guys
trade
never know.
2 years.
the trade you made today was Drew Brees and what? What was the other player?
Cold Beastly.
Okay. For
And
second?
I got Buston second because he owned the best of Phil or Buston second, so it'll be
Okay.
Buston probably. And then I got my 3rd round pick back, which should be the 1st or 2nd pick in the 3rd round,
Yeah.
and a 5th round pick, which I told him if he wins the championship, it'll be the last pick just to sweeten the offer.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you're not Breeze is doing you no good right now.
No, well, neither is Beasley. I mean,
Right.
he's 31 years old. He'll
He's a
last a
rapper.
couple more years maybe. He
A
is a
rapper, like
rapper
you
that
said.
plays football.
Tiff said, "I'm going to lose a 40-year-old quarterback and a rapper that plays football. I don't need him."
Yeah. He actually said that he is a rapper that plays football and not a football player that
Jumping
raps.
sick beats. All right. Any questions for Tim, Detroit?
No, that's it.
It's a pretty thorough breakdown, and it's
Yeah,
nice
it
to get
was.
inside the thought process.
I like how he gave his reasons why he
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, I like
the
that.
deals.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so celebrity guest picker. We're gonna go through the games. I don't know if I'll have them in the same order that I did it earlier. I probably won't.
I have them in order.
All right, you give them to him then. You guys take this away.
So are we not
All right.
going to talk about Matt's?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Why I chose Matt's?
yes. Sorry.
So I chose Matt's because I'm getting the most draft picks. I'm getting 2 firsts, a second, and a third. He may or may not win the championship. His team is just about as good as Jeremy's probably. So it is. I might end up with the same, but I'll get the second and third. Kareem Hunt is a stud as long as he can keep his feet off of women. He's going to be a starter somewhere else. I guarantee it. And then Evan Ingram, I mean, who knows? Everyone wants him to be good. Well, everyone might hate him by now, but at one point everyone thought he was going to be a beast. So hopefully he either gets traded or he finally starts doing good.
Yeah. The only thing concern I had about the players you got was Hunt. And while he's really good, I feel like him and Chubb split a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But it's not about this year for me.
Yeah, right.
As far as I know, he's only on a 1-year contract, so anyone can pick him up after this year.
Wow. Good call.
I mean, they didn't sign him long term, I'm sure, because he was fresh off of a domestic
Yeah, that's
violence charge.
Well, the good thing about him, though, is he's good out of the backfield. He catches a lot of balls.
Yeah.
So,
As far as I know, he's never really been injured. We've seen what he could do as a starter. He's number 1 running back in football, probably, or top 3 for sure.
yeah, he's
So
up
we'll
there.
see.
The logic is there, boys.
All right. So for the first game for this week is the Wampus Cats versus the Gamblers. Who you got?
I have got the Gamblers winning this one. It is a battle of the running backs. Buston is struggling at running back.
Yeah, he's trying to get a couple running backs for me.
Yeah, he tried for CMC and he's tried for a couple other players. I probably should have tried to trade him Naheem Hines early in the season whenever he scored 28 points the first game.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like you'll get one of those players that'll have a game like that, and you're like, do I trade him while he's hot, or do I hold on to him and he's the next superstar? In my case, I always hold on to him way too long. So.
Yeah, I might have done that, but he'll be there for a while. I didn't know that Jonathan Taylor was going to be such a beast.
Yeah, he is.
That was a good pick for whoever got him. I don't even remember, Eric or someone.
Roxanne Renegade, yep.
Pretty good.
All righty. For Brett, you got anything to add?
No, I'm on you run this one now.
Oh, great. All right, the second game, we have Eric and the Roxalana Renegades versus Matt and the Charleston Methadones.
This is another running back game. Almost all these games are decided by the three-headed running backs. Matt's dominates right there again, so I'm taking Matt.
Yeah.
Or the Methadones.
I got a question about Matt, since you guys know him the best. If he ends up winning this, how annoying is he going to be?
Very, very, very.
It'll be pretty bad.
Way worse for me and Brett than it will be anyone else, but it'll be annoying, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can already see. It only took me 2 years to win this thing.
Yeah. I'm
All right.
smarter than all you assholes.
Yep, I can see him saying that. All right, for the third game, we have Brett's Montrose Mega Powers, who's really not a Mega Power, like you said earlier, and the LJ's Polka Pharmacist.
Oh, Brett is having a bad week this week. He has got bye after bye. I'm got to go with the pharmacist here.
You don't think Jakeem Grant is gonna carry me?
I saw that, man. You're living on a prayer.
It happens.
Yeah, we always have those kind of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fourth game is Phil's Nightdale Dragons versus Mike Marmette's Midnight Riders.
I think this is going to be a close one, but again, the three-headed dragon actually a three-headed dragon of running backs is just going to do it for the Dragons. He's going to win this one.
So far, you've picked the same picks we've done.
Yeah, this wasn't a very off week, I feel like. Everyone's pretty much the same except for the game of the week, possibly.
All right, the next game is my Elkview River Rats taking on that superpower, the Glasgow Gunslingers, and Jeremy Clark.
The real mega power of the KDFL is going to reign supreme once again. Those running backs are ridiculous. And it's just tough to compete.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, all right.
I had Detroit's back in that one.
Yeah, you did. Right. All right. So our game of the week, the Tank for Trevor. We have Eric's Roxalana Renegades. Oh, wait. No. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I almost did that earlier during the actual pod. That's
I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
Tim, it's your Kanawha County Kings versus Reed's Dogtown Dobermans.
They are not going to get the win. The Kings are coming to town, and it is a wrap for the Dobermans.
All right.
Unfortunately, for my draft position.
I would love it if it was Corso and we had like a crown.
Oh, that would have been great.
That's when I should have put my crown on.
But yeah, Phil's got your back on this one.
Okay.
Brett, we took Reed.
That's fair. It's a pretty close matchup, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's actually the closest one out of all the projections.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I hope y'all are right.
All right. Now, give us your lock of the week, NFL.
Lock of the week, man. I saw a few out there that you all didn't get, but I'm going to have to go with Tampa Bay minus 10.5. I think they're just going to dominate them. The Giants are a SHIT show.
All right, so
that's awesome.
All right, so Tim, thanks for coming on our first interview of one of our league members, right? Yeah, we haven't done this.
Yeah.
We've had a celebrity guest picker, but never an interview about a recent event. So that's it. So
two trades in 2 weeks. We're making moves. Who wants to deal this week?
Moves going down in Kanawha County.
Hey, anybody want to hit me up for running back? Holler at me.
All right, so for Tim McCarthy, for Jonathan Detroit Haynes, that wraps up the interview, and we will see you next week on the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast.
Brett, you suck.
Later, boys.